Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Bangladesh in Crisis, our series that has been looking in depth at the situation in Bangladesh. On the program tonight, we're talking about religion and politics, and we're asking questions like what sort of a role does religion play in politics and how is the current situation evolving? Joining me in the studio to discuss this tonight, Mufassal Islam, who's a blogger and a human rights lawyer, and Talha Ahmed, a regular commentator on Bangladeshi affairs. Welcome to you both and thank you for joining us. Now, earlier today, 4 activists were arrested for taking part in nationwide strikes. It comes days after a court issued an arrest warrant for the eldest son of the former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. Yasmin Khatun has more.
In the early hours of this morning, police in Bangladesh detained 4 Chhatra Shibir activists. The activists include 2 Central Committee secretaries. Chhatra Shibir are the student wing of Jamaat-e-Islam and have been involved with strikes and protests across the country. There have been continual strikes since February, when sentences from the International Crimes Tribunal began to be handed down. Due to the level of strikes, the Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce has asked for a law to stop the shutdowns due to the devastating effects they are having on the economy. Home Minister M.K. Alamgir has stated that the government is planning a compensation law to stop these strikes. In other news, a Dhaka court has ordered the arrest of Tariq Rahman, the eldest son of BNP chair Khaleda Zia. Rahman currently resides in London and just last week was campaigning for a caretaker administration to take realm in Bangladesh. Delwar Hussain, the owner of a factory destroyed in a fire last November, in which more than 100 people were killed, returned to court yesterday. He has been ordered to attend court in 9 days, when an investigation into the circumstances of the accident are due to come out. His lawyer said,
প্রব কমিটির রিপোর্ট যেটার উপরে আমরা কথা বলছি যেখানে দেলোয়ার হোসেনকে দায়ী করা হয়েছে সেই প্রব কমিটির রিপোর্টটা আবার আগামী 9 জুন বিজ্ঞ আদালতে দাখিল করতে বলা হয়েছে এবং সাথে সাথে দেলোয়ার হোসেনকে বলা হয়েছে তিনি যেন ইন পারসন উপস্থিত থাকেন আদালতে সেই দিন প্রব কমিটির রিপোর্ট পর্যালোচনা সাপেক্ষে পরবর্তী আদেশ দেওয়া হবে এই হচ্ছে আজকের আদেশ
Yasmin Khatun reporting for Islam Channel, Bangladesh in Crisis.
Well, let's go straight into the discussion there. I want to ask first of all about this arrest warrant that was issued on Sunday for Khaleda Zia's eldest son. He's being sought on charges of corruption. Is that right, Mufassil?
That's correct, yes. He has been charged with corruption which haven't been proved in any court of law. So a man is innocent until proven guilty. That's what it stands. And there's no reason to say that he's jumping any bail or anything.
What type of corruption are we looking at here?
Well,
Money laundering.
The history is bleak because the allegations are bleak. So the grounds are bleak. So we cannot really say for sure that what are they trying to form the allegations against, because allegations are not manifestly founded anyway.
But this isn't, Talha, let me bring you into this. This isn't the first time one of her family members has been, this is the Prime Minister's, former Prime Minister's family members have been sought on charges of corruption. Her younger son also apparently is being sought for that.
Well, these are not new charges. The charge has been pre-existing for some time. In fact, when he came, he was charged on those allegations. What happened now is that Tariq Rahman, whilst he's in the UK, he has remained out of the public eye for all these times. But now, as soon as he made his first public appearance, suddenly it seems almost on the very same day, the government, well, they will say not government, the court has issued a warrant. What we know is that these are politically motivated charges. Now, I'm not saying these men are innocent or that they are not innocent, but the point is, even if they are corrupt, by doing what the government is doing, which is a clear breach of the whole notion of justice must be done without colluding with the executive, that is being breached, and the perception matters. In law, perception is very important. These warrants do not help creating the right condition in which people can have confidence that these courts operates independently.
There is no way Tariq Rahman can be expected to go back as a human being. Forget about Tariq Rahman as a leader. There is no way, because the judiciary has been totally nepotized. You know, the judiciary has been appointed judges who are questionable about their neutrality, about their honesty and everything. There is no fairness in police remand, because you see the leader of the Chhatra Shibir, Delwar Hussain, he was in a police remand for 53 days, and he cannot even come back to his own situation where he can answer to any question. So a history of whoever's going into police remand ends up in a coma, or he ends up being beaten. So Tariq Rahman getting a fair trial, Tariq Rahman getting a good treatment, it's out of the question. So his life is threatened.
I believe government knows that they have no luck. They would have no luck with these warrants.
Yes.
Because
do you think perhaps then this was issued so that to prevent him from coming back to Bangladesh?
No, I don't think even that. I don't think he would have gone back in this current state. But the point is this. They have issued warrants at a time against a man who were brutally tortured. Remember, his life was in danger. When he was allowed to leave the country, it wasn't that they wanted him to leave the country. It was because his life was at risk. So they allowed him to receive treatment. Now, when you are under that, I used to make my living by arguing human rights for some time. And this man has been tortured. And there's clear evidence that he will be tortured if he goes against. There's a real danger. There's no way UK government would allow, because the law would not allow for UK government to extradite him or let him go back to Bangladesh.
Yes,
there's also an issue of whether he has sought political asylum, and many says that he has. And if he has sought political asylum, there's absolutely no question of going back.
Let's get the clock out of it. Yes, he has been recognized as a refugee in this country.
Yeah.
And that has been protected under the Geneva Convention 1951, ECHR, the Human Rights Act, Article 3, Article 2, and all that. So there is no chance the UK government, for its commitment to the Geneva Convention and all that, can allow Tariq Rahman to be shifted back to Bangladesh. But unfortunately, Bangladesh is not a signatory to the Geneva Convention, and Bangladesh has no respect. Of course, Bangladesh has no respect for refugees at all, because Bangladesh government did not allow Rohingyas even to come to Bangladesh. So the opportunity of Tariq Rahman being treated as a man even is out of the question.
We also saw in that news report more strikes, more people being arrested for taking part in these strikes. This isn't uncommon for Bangladesh, is it?
Of course not. We have been having a strike since day one. I mean, if you go back to history, the so-called Hartal started even during the time of Mahatma Gandhi.
Hartal is the Bangladeshi word for
Bangladesh general strike.
Yes.
So this has been going on. It's a democratic right. If you don't want to work, you cannot force someone to work.
But it's crippling the country, Talha, isn't it?
Country is already crippled. Country is already crippled.
The trouble we have is, yes, it's damaging to the nation. Yeah. And if you go on the street, remember, everybody wants to stay safe. I don't think any decent, normal human being wants to put their life and their security in danger. Why do they then still do it? They do it because the country is at a state where everybody but a few elites belonging to the ruling party feel suffocated. Their life, their dignity, their property, nothing is secured. So if you want to come out of this quagmire, if you want to come out of this really suffocating, wide open prison, where 160 million people's plight is at risk, then what else can you do? You take desperate measures.
If you go into history, if I can add, if you go into history, Bengali history, we have been always the rebellious nation. And we don't want to be kings who are ruled by someone else. So we will be pauper than free. So we want to be free. At the same time, we are pauper. Doesn't matter. But we will not give up our freedom for being kings.
Excellent. Well, one of the main points of contention in the political arena these days is the role that religion plays in state affairs. Before we discuss this further, here's a brief look at Islam in Bangladesh.
There are 145 million Muslims in Bangladesh. The country holds the fourth largest population after Indonesia, Pakistan and India. The people of Bangladesh are 87% Muslim, and the remaining 13% are predominantly Hindu. The Hindu populace of Bangladesh live in varied regions, with concentrations in Khulna, Jessore, Bijanpur, Faridpur and Barisal. Muslims in Bangladesh have distinctive social patterns associated with almost all facets of their daily life. The majority are Sunni and follow the Hanafi school of thought. In the past, there has been a clear separation of religion and politics in the country. Bar Jamaat-e-Islam, religious factions have traditionally remained non-political. Though this may be about to change with the rise of Hifazat-e-Islam. Hifazat are a non-political body formed through a tightly knit coalition of Islamic organizations coming together under one umbrella in recent years. The Hifazat coalitions are based at more than 25,000 madrasas across the country. Many teachers and students at these madrasas have come out to participate in recent street protests. The Constitution of Bangladesh was created as a secular state and provided for the right to practice the religion of one's choice. In recent times, many religious groupings in the country have felt under attack, and it can be argued that the current government is holstering this. But with the current uprisings, where does religion lie in the politics of Bangladesh, and is the current style coming to an end?
Now, Mufassal, you